have is Ordinance 1426. This is an ordinance amending Canby Municipal Code, Chapter 2.64.020 regarding the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee for the City of Canby. This is also before you for second reading. As you will recall, the Bike and Ped Committee came before the council requesting to increase their membership by 2.
Great. Thanks, Kim.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Ordinance 1426, amending the Canby Municipal Code, Chapter 2.64.020 regarding the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Councillor Parker, seconded by Councillor Coleman to approve Ordinance 1426, amending Canby Municipal Code Chapter 2.64.020 regarding the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. And a roll call vote.
Councillor Rocha?
Aye.
Councillor Parker?
Yes.
Councillor Hensley?
Aye.
Councillor Dale?
Aye.
Councillor Height?
Aye.
Councillor Coleman?
Yes.
Great. 6-0.
The next item we have is Ordinance 1426. This is, 1427. This is a declaring a ban on marijuana businesses and other sites.
And I can quickly recap on this one as well. This was a vehicle of House Bill 3400, which if municipalities and other political subdivisions in the state of Oregon following Measure 91, which legalized recreational use of marijuana, if we, in our situation, we were our jurisdiction was against it overall, but just barely, so it wasn't quite 55% against. And so there was a legislative kind of compromise which said people in our situation, if we were going to indeed ban the processing or the selling of or the production of marijuana in our political subdivision, we would have to opt to give it to the voters. And so this ordinance would basically authorize it to go out. Well, this declares a ban so that then we can get to the voters. It was the way in which the process of House Bill 3400 was set up is that you first have to declare a ban, and then there'll be a resolution to follow that refers it to the voters. So even though this looks like instituting a ban, it's really the avenue to get to the referral to the people.
And the referral piece will be for 2016, right?
Yes, for November, the next election is November 2016, and it had to be for that.
Thanks for the recap, Joe. I do have a comment card here for somebody that, Mr. Patton, would you like to come and address us on this issue?
Hello, my name is Jason Patton. I live at 1040 North Birch Street here in Canby. And I guess before I begin, I first have one question. Will this ban all aspects of the law or just the dispensary and licensed growing operations within the city limits?
This ban only bans the processing, production or dispensing of through businesses.
Okay.
It doesn't ban recreational use in general. It doesn't ban growing up to 4 plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be sure I wasn't preparing to stick my foot in my mouth. Okay? So, that being said, I want to go on record as saying that I am not a fan of the marijuana law. However, a majority of the people in the state decided that they wanted this, and so therefore I have to deal with it. Similar to I don't feel that everybody should be able to have a weapon in their home, but I have to deal with that because they can. The concern that I have is how this is being portrayed to the citizens of this community. The way that I read it, because obviously I'm not on the council anymore, and I have to get my news through the Canby Herald and stuff because I'm out of town a lot for work, is that the goal of banning dispensaries and licensed growing operations in the city limits is in an effort to keep what bad things could come from marijuana being in the city out of the city, and to reduce the burden on the Canby Police Department on having to deal with it being in the city. I think it should be made very clear to the citizens of this community that that is not the case. banning a dispensary or banning a licensed grow operation in the city is not going to keep the product out of the community. And Councillor Coleman said it himself in the paper that if people want to get it, they will get it and will get into the city. And when they do, the police have to adhere to the rules of how much a person can have and how it can be packaged when they have it on them. Also, every single person not every single person, but every single household in this community could essentially grow 4 plants. And so, therefore, the product will be in this community. And the police will be having to deal with it. But without having a dispensary in the city to tax, it will be more of a burden on the police without more funding to help relieve that cost. In fact, it will probably make it worse, because if every single household in the city is able to grow it, it is highly likely that people are not going to do it smart. In fact, I know of people in Portland who things will get stolen. And when something gets stolen from your home, who do you normally call? And that is the police department. So I think it needs to be made very clear to the people of this community that while they can choose not to have this in the city, and they can essentially cut off their noses to spite their face to not get the tax money for it, it is going to create a burden on the city, and it is going to create a burden on the police force, and there will be no extra money to take care of it. I just would caution you as the leaders of this city, forward with that. The citizens of this community know that very well, because the last thing I would like to see, especially as a member of this community, is for people to heatedly vote to ban all of this and then have the problem explode and then say, oh, whoops, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And that is all. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance number 1427, an ordinance of the City of Canby, Clackamas County, Oregon, declaring a ban on marijuana businesses and other sites, referring ordinance, and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councillor Hensley and seconded by Councillor Coleman to approve ordinance 1427, an ordinance of the City of Canby, Clackamas County, Oregon, declaring a ban on marijuana businesses and other sites, referring ordinance, and declaring an emergency. And this is a roll call vote as well.
Councillor Rocha?
Yes.
Councillor Parker?
Yes.
Councillor Hensley?
Yes.
Councillor Dale?
Aye.
Councillor Height?
Aye.
Councillor Coleman?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Thank you all.
The next item we have is ordinance 1428. This is an ordinance of the City of Canby, Clackamas County, Oregon, imposing a 3% tax on the sale of marijuana items by a marijuana retailer, referring ordinance. And this is also before you for second reading.
And again, this is a creature of the House Bill 3400, which, if the voters say no, that they actually do want dispensaries in town, then we have to refer to the voters through this House bill if we do want to take advantage of a local tax on it. And so this is kind of the backup plan because we don't always know what the voters are going to do. The other thing is we don't always know if the federal government changes their stance on it, and then the state law might then preempt local law differently, because right now the federal law is supreme. But if that changes, then we might also want that opportunity to have a local tax, and so we're referring this to the voters as well, so that it's kind of out there in the instance that a ban becomes either no longer state law to allow us to ban it, or if the voters decide that they don't want the ban.
All right. Thank you,
Mr.
Joe.
Mayor?
Yeah.
I move we adopt ordinance number 1428, an ordinance of the City of Canby, Clackamas County, Oregon, imposing a 3% tax on the sale of marijuana items by a marijuana retailer, referring ordinance.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Hensley and seconded by Counselor Height to approve ordinance number 1428. An ordinance of the City of Canby, Clackamas County, Oregon, imposing a 3% tax on the sale of marijuana items by a marijuana retailer with a referring ordinance. All those in favor? Sorry.
Counselor Rocha?
Aye.
Counselor Parker?
Yes.
Counselor Hensley?
Aye.
Counselor Dale?
Aye.
Counselor Height?
Aye.
Counselor Coleman?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. New business, I'm not seeing anything called out necessarily, but anything from city staff on that at all?
Amanda said she had a bunch of stuff that she...
Yeah, no, it's her turn right now. City
Or you should just put the
administrator.
camera on.
I got some questions for her.
So we'll move into city administrator and staff reports.
I would love to give just a very quick update on the library civic building.
Fantastic.
I'll make it 30 seconds or less. Everybody has probably seen that there's a lot of action going on down there. We have been working with our contractor, Triplet Wellman. They had 3 bid packages go out, and we're in the process now of finalizing those subcontracts and should have that wrapped up fairly soon, but some of those contracts are in place, and we have people out there working. The footings and stem walls have been poured, and then the biggest piece that you can see from 2nd Avenue, a lot of people are asking, what's the big piece? That's our elevator. We're working on right now figuring out all the MEP, which is the mechanical and electrical and plumbing, because we have about 1 more week, and that's it before we have any more say in what goes into the slab. So they anticipate that weather permitting, that'll probably be by the middle of December, and then people should start seeing vertical walls go up after the first of the year. So moving along.
Wow, fantastic.
Oh, and some wood that's being used on the project is being treated right now and will probably be stored on site very shortly and is being provided by our low bidder, which was Canby Builder Supply.
Awesome. And
Fantastic.
local. It's great.
I like that. That's great. Any questions for Ms. Cyber since she's here?
I think we should all have at least one.
All right, we'll let Amanda off the hook. Second opportunity for citizen input this evening. If anybody,
Actually, while I'm here, I have 2 things.
yeah,
Lions Club and veterans. So you mentioned Lions Club. I'm actually not part of the Canby Lions Club anymore. I'm part of Oregon City's Lions Club for interesting reasons. But anyways, I still help them with a lot of their projects. And one of them is Christmas Tree Lot, which is in its 100th year or whatever that we do it. And my temporary vendor permit has been submitted to the city for them to review, so it will be going up Black Friday. We will have trees out there for sale, so please come out and support the club. I think the price is still going to be the same that it's been for the last 6 years, so definitely buy a tree from us. And then along those lines, I don't know, are you familiar with a group called Wreaths Across America?
no.
Okay, so this is really quite interesting. My mother told me about this. So there's an organization called Wreaths Across America, and their goal is to put a wreath on every single service person's grave in every single, at least in Arlington National Cemetery, but in all of the national cemeteries across the United States.
Wow.
And so, as a city council and for people out in TV land, what I would recommend is that you go to Google Wreaths Across America and look it up, and you can either sponsor a wreath. The wreaths are either $10 or $15 a piece, and there's a company in the Midwest that makes them and donates quite a few of them. And then you can also look up your area, and here in this area there is a cemetery in Beaverton, and then Willamette National Cemetery has some coordinators, and so they need help putting the wreaths out that have been sponsored, and then also collecting the wreaths after Christmas. And so if you go to that website, you can bring up the site, and you can contact the person locally who coordinates that and volunteer your time, or have a family come out and help, and put the wreaths out on the graves, and then come and collect them after the holidays. So just something, I was not aware of it. My mom is doing this great big fundraiser back east to get a bunch of wreaths for it, so I figured I would just start spreading the word here on the West Coast. So we do have some spots in Oregon that need them, and definitely look it up. That's it.
Jason.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, on that note, Wednesday of this coming week is Veterans Day. And does anybody know of anything organized here in Canby on Wednesday? I'll look none of them.
Nothing
You guys
They
know.
do that
Okay.
Memorial Day. We have the Veterans Day breakfast on Sunday at
Sunday.
Legion.
Okay.
There's no parade.
Not here. No, not here. But I know
No
that there's
parades,
some.
it's
Yeah,
probably gonna rain.
Okay. Thank you, Jason, for that. Appreciate it. Action review, Kim.
You have approved the consent agenda and you've adopted ordinances 1424, 1425, 1426, 1427, and 1428.
Great. Thank you. Joe, do we have an exec session tonight?
No.
Thank you, Joe.
That concludes our business this evening. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion's been made by Councilor Hensley and seconded by Councilor Rocha to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Jason usually wins, but
All right.
remember that.
I know. I thought maybe someone would give at least one no.
Since Jason is here, I will say nay.
There you go. All right. Well, so that carries 5-1. Good night, Canby. Thank you.
Good job, everyone.